Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. Right, today I'm going to be making a small little battle axe, tomahawk type thing. So I was given this little hatchet when I visited Tom in Scotland. You'll see Tom in one of the road trip videos. I think it'll be part 3 if you're interested. So yeah, this will be a similar build to my Warhammer that I did. I think I'm going to leave the front axe bit as it is, but this back hammer bit I'm going to turn into a spike. The handle will be made from a steel tube. I think the handle will be around about 2 foot long, so it should be quite a decent little battle axe. Should swing quite well. I'm not 100% sure on the length, but yeah, any steel tube will do. And basically this will fit right in, and there's usually a hole down here that you can put a rivet through, and they're really solid. So what I'll do first, I think I'm going to cut these ends off. One other thing I will say before I start is these builds you can use very simple tools. Now I use some power tools that you don't need to because I've got injuries, like I've got a bad shoulder and a bad side and a bad chest muscle. All injuries that don't really get better and are easily aggravated doing this kind of work. So I use a reciprocating saw instead of a hacksaw. But you could use a hacksaw. I use a pillar drill where you could use a hand drill. All of these things can be done with very simple tools. I just use the larger tools because they help me with the sort of disabilities I've got. So yeah, I'm going to cut the ends off of this first. And you could do the length to whatever you like. This one, the handle is going to be, I've pretty much cut that exactly 2 foot. So you'll have a 2 foot handle with the head sticking out like that essentially. I'll get the paint off as well. I may actually do that now. This may take some time. Right, so I've taken the paint off the handle and sorted out that little bit that was there, a little welded on bit. I'm now going to cut these bits off and start shaping that into a little spike. I say a little spike, should be quite a big spike, but yes. And once I've done that, I'll take the handle off. I reckon you could probably do this with a hacksaw. I'm just going to finish off the last bit. But yeah, I do reckon that this would be soft enough to actually cut with a hacksaw. Okay. So that's the rough shape of the back spike. I'm going to need to elongate this bit slightly because it's a slightly different angle than the other side. And then I'm going to taper in the edges. So I may cut a bit off there and there and then start tapering them in, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean when I do it. Right, so I've roughed out the spike to how I want it. That will be finished up later. So now we've got a chopping edge and a sort of spike, skull crushing type edge. What I need to do now is take the handle off and see how much I need to take off of the sort of body of the handle to fit in the tube. Because you will need to grind off a little bit, but it's not normally a lot. Just a pity you can't get these handles off without cutting them, because potentially it could be used for something else. But I think I'm going to cut it off and we'll see what we've got. I don't really know if you could probably use it for much anyway. Okay, so that isn't bad. Let's see how much. Okay, yeah, so what you could do, I'm not going to do this, but I prefer the head right up to the top like this. Right? That's what I like it to look like. You could potentially have it stopping there, but you know, I don't think this bit would be as strong as the tube. So looks like I'm going to need to grind off a tiny little bit of the edge of this because it's a little bit tight. Or it might not need it. But one thing you will need to do is take off these edges so they're as sort of wide as this bit, and you may need to adjust the top. So here we are at the minute. Fits on lovely. Just make sure that's not too hot. On some of the other ones I've done, the Warhammer, it had a hole there. That's what I used to put a rivet through. So this will need a hole drilled through. Yeah, that sits lovely. And the reason I like it like that is you've got so much more strength in the handle then. Basically, you've got to there of a lot of steel. So yes, that is coming along nicely. So what I'll do next, I think I will drill the hole. I'll make sure the head is fitting where I want it, which I'm quite happy with that. That looks pretty good. So I think I'll drill the hole and then put the rivet in, and we can start working on the handle. I've cut a little bit off the handle, about 4 inches. So I think overall now it is 23 inches. Let's have a look. Yeah, 23 inches with a 20-inch handle. I think that's a bit better suited. The reason for that is I think this would be good to be able to be used two-handed but also one-handed, and I think any longer than that it's too long. It's going to have a double-handed handle, so the grip will be for 2 hands, but you could always grip it up higher and use it one-handed. And as mentioned, you don't need to use things like pillar drills. I just use this pillar drill because it helps me with my shoulder injury that I've got. Otherwise, I do a lot of hand drilling and sawing. I'm in a lot of pain for about a week afterwards when I do. So I use things like this just to help me. You don't need to do that. So now you want to mark where the hole is to drill through the handle. So I've just put a mark there where my head comes up to. Okay, that should do it. So I've done the hole. See that? But you can anyway, you can see through it. The reason I might adjust the handle again is because this rivet, if you have this the top of the handle, you can hide it. You'll see what I mean by that, but I normally put a kind of thickened, when I put the handle on, I'll put a thicker bit on the top and bottom to stop your hand sliding up and down. Now, if I took off another couple of inches, you could have the rivet hidden inside the handle essentially. Well, that would still be alright, be a long handle though, but if I took a couple of inches off, maybe 2 inches, I reckon that would be ideal. So I may take another couple of inches off. What we'll do now though is the nail rivet. So let me show you how to do this. Quite simple. If you've ever tried to do nail rivets, they can be difficult, but I've found the optimal way to do it now, and that is using big nails. I've never ever successfully done a nail rivet with a small nail. Okay. There is our nail in. That then holds the axe into the handle. We'll now cut that off, leaving enough room to get a washer on and maybe 2 or 3 millimeters to peen over. And you will need a flat hard surface to do this. And make sure the washer is quite tight. It won't require as much hammering then. So there is the actual axe head connected. You will probably have a little bit of rattle, and this is why we're going to stick wood in either side of the handle now to stop any movement. I've just taken a few bits of wood and shaped them so that I should be able to get them to go inside those gaps. You can pour some glue in there as well. And these are just wedges essentially, and they will just help the head to be more stable. Now there probably is other ways you could do this, but this is the way I've always done these kind of things, and they work well. If you get a bit of rattle at some point, you can always just hammer a sort of nail into the wood to split it, same as what you do with the head of a hammer. So these should fit in a second. And they will probably break off, but as long as you've got some in there, that will create the wedge that you want. This will help. Right, so I've redone the edge, so it's got a much better edge now, and I've put the wood in the bottom. I'm going to prep for the handle now. So I did want to do a sort of glued twine type handle, but I don't have any, so I'm going to have to do a black taped handle, and then maybe at a later date put a string handle on it. What I'm going to do first is take some masking tape, and I'm going to build up a sort of lump, I don't know how to describe it, like a collar type bit at the top and the bottom of the handle. You'll see what I mean. So basically I'll be wrapping tape around where the rivet is, building it up to create a sort of collar, so your hand will have somewhere to go either way. And this works quite well. I've done this with tape before, sometimes I do it with the string, it depends what you've got. So just keep going round until you create a little bit of a sort of collar there, and you can keep adding bits to one side and the other of the rivet to build it up so it's level, if that makes sense. So I'll keep doing that and then I'll start working on the handle. Right, so there it is, pretty much done. So I've basically built up a collar at both ends to let your hands sort of know where to sit, and then they can't go up or down. Put a little sort of rubber thing. I will eventually get some more tape, but yeah, that's it, pretty much done. I'll do a little bit more cleaning up. The spike is ready, the blade's ready. I'm just going to varnish the top and the top of the handle because they're bare metal. They will go rusty if you've got particularly sweaty hands, or just touch it a lot. You know, because it's just being bare metal. So yeah. But yeah, that is. Quite happy with that. I'll have a Warhammer build coming up soon, made from a rock pick, same as what I did before, but I'll just do another video for it. Yeah, really happy with that. So in a bit you'll see some detailed pictures, and just watching. Don't forget to watch the rest of the video. Like the video, share it if you think you know anyone who would like this kind of stuff, and I'll see you later. But yeah, don't forget to watch the rest of the video. See you later.